Productivity is complete bull. Look, I've made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And the secret is actually doing less, not more. People talk about productivity so much and being so productive and getting so much work done and working hard, and they even read books about how to be more productive, and they watch productivity YouTube videos, and they even have productivity software like Notion to manage their super busy productive to-do list, when a to-do list can simply be put on a piece of paper or even a post-it note. And at the end of the day, they feel like they've been productive because they were so busy, yet they always seem to be asking themselves, why didn't I get anything done today? Has that ever happened to you? Like you've been super busy, but you feel like you really didn't get anything done? And then they say things like, man, I just need more hours in the day. No, you have enough hours in the day. The problem is that you have it totally backwards, and you think that you need to do more in order to grow your business, and you need to do more in order to grow when you actually need to do less. It's only going to take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, by all means, keep on being busy doing a bunch of nothing. And I don't know any other way how to explain this to you outside of a poorly drawn diagram. So let's get into it. Look, let's say each and every single day, you have 10 points of energy, right? And this is the typical person. Each and every single day, they have 10 points of energy. Let me make sure this is 10. Is this 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, they have 10 points of energy. But as you can see here, they don't really ever get anywhere because they're scatterbrained and they can't get any distance, or they can't get any traction on the actual task because their brain and their focus and their energy is everywhere. And you're going to lose 10 times out of 10 to the person who puts all 10 points of this energy into one thing. Can you see how the person here gets so far right here, whereas the person here really doesn't have any traction? They can't get far on anything because they're scattered everywhere. So you actually do get more accomplished by doing less. Now, a lot of things that people are wasting their time on, it's personal stuff. It's personal stuff over business stuff, right? A lot of times people think that they need to do more business stuff when actually they need to take away some of the personal stuff that they're doing, because they may actually be doing enough in their business, but they're just wasting too much time on the personal stuff. And here's the thing about this also. A business is a reflection of your personal self. That's why I hate when I've done business deals in the past with people and they be like, no, it's not personal, it's business. I'm like, no, this is personal, because the way that you do business is a personal reflection of yourself. So if your personal life is scattered everywhere, your business is going to be scattered everywhere also. So how you can get to this side right here where you're focused on that one thing instead of being scatterbrained over here and having your energy and your focus everywhere, you need to take away some of these things on the personal side. So just think about this for a second. How much time each week do you spend going grocery shopping? Right? How much time each week do you spend going grocery shopping? This is something that I've totally eliminated, because I was like, dang, I'm spending hours per week going grocery shopping when I could be spending that time on building my actual business. Now, this is very easy to do these days with something like Instacart, right? Or everybody has Amazon Prime. You can get your groceries straight from Whole Foods if you shop at Whole Foods with Amazon Prime. I got an email literally this morning, I think, $9 a month for delivery with Amazon Prime. But these options are something that is affordable, that is going to get you back hours upon hours of time that you could be using to be productive in your actual business. Because I'm like, if you just think about going to the grocery store, think of the time that you put in to drive to the grocery store. Think of how much time that you're there walking through the grocery store. Think of how much time to check out, then you're walking back to your car, then you drive back, then you unload it's like 2-3 hours have gone by. And those 2-3 hours could be spent working on your business for the day. And then with the groceries that you bought, let's just talk about eating every single day, cooking. How much time are you putting into cooking? I use a meal delivery service because that's going to be another 1 to 2 hours outside of the grocery store just to cook. Now I have to think about what I'm going to eat today. Now I have to prepare the stuff and have to chop and dice stuff up and then put it in the oven or on top of the skillet and all that stuff. Now, I know people, they'll say like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say that you can just have a meal delivery service or I don't have enough money to have a chef. That's typically what people say to me. I don't make enough money to hire a chef. I'm not saying that you have to hire a chef, but there are meal delivery services that I use, and I've actually started eating a lot cleaner because I use a healthy meal delivery service. I'm not gonna shout them out because they're not paying me for this video, but these services are abundantly available and they're affordable. I know one of my friends from back home, they said this same thing. They were like, well, you can afford all this stuff. I'm not like you, bro. And I was like, you spend more on going out to the club than I spend on getting my food delivered to me. And it eliminates thinking power. I just grab the stuff that I'm gonna eat for the day, pop it in the microwave, or grab the stuff that I'm gonna eat for the day, put it in the oven, and it's delicious and it's healthy. I don't have to worry about eating a bunch of that crap. But those are things that I've eliminated to whereas I can focus on my one thing for the day. Also things like cleaning, right? Something that I eliminated in my life was cleaning. I have a nice lady named Martha. She comes by and she cleans my house. I had somebody else that I know, they told me, well, I can afford to have a maid come through. I'm like, Martha, she's not my personal maid, but she comes by every so often, she cleans my house. And this person that told me this, they spend more money on liquor each month than I spend on having Martha come by because she cleans my house for like $120. I'm like, for that 120 bucks that I can have Martha come through and clean my house, that's hours that I'm gonna get back because Martha, she brings a homegirl through. Them two, they clean my house way quicker than I would. They get everything done in like an hour and a half. If I was sitting here doing this, it would take me like 3-4 hours to clean my house. And outside of that, what am I doing with that time? That time that I'm spending working while Martha is cleaning my house. I'm going to make this $120 back 10 times over, way more than 10 times over, like 1,000 times over. So last time Martha came by and cleaned my house, I literally thought of 5 YouTube videos while she was cleaning my house. One of those YouTube videos paid me more than what it costs to have Martha come and clean my house. It's worth it. But majority of the things that people need to take away so they can focus their energy on the thing that they actually need to be focused on are personal things, other things, even something as simple as the phone that people don't think about. I am impossible to get a hold of. You can't get a hold of me. People, they can't call me. People, they can't text me. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that my phone is on Do Not Disturb for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not an exaggeration. That's real life. Now, the people that may need to get a hold of me in case of an emergency, I have them on my favorites list, but it's only like 4 or 5 people that's phone calls may be able to get through to me. And while I'm working, like when it's work hours, they can't even get through to me because I have my phone in a separate room in a drawer. Because I'm like, if there is an emergency, there's nothing that I'm gonna be able to do within this 2 to 3, 4 hour window that I'm working because I only work around 2 to 4 hours per day. So I'm like, during those 2 to 4 hours, if the world's burning, it's still gonna be burning. I can get back to that emergency 2 hours from now. I'm sure there's nothing I can do about it right now. So put your phone on Do Not Disturb, or if you don't have an Apple iPhone, put it on airplane mode or something. Another thing, apps. You need to cut off notifications on all of your apps. I don't have any notifications on my phone. Actually, what you need to do, you need to turn your phone into like a brick. You know, a brick is very boring. Phones are too entertaining. For one, outside of turning the notifications off on apps, because people's phones are just dinging nonstop and they can't ever focus on anything because every couple minutes, or in actuality, like every 45 seconds, they're looking at their phone, a notification's going off, a social media notification's going off, an email's going off, a YouTube notification is going off, a text message. Outside of just cutting off the notifications, I just deleted everything off of my phone. I don't have social media on my phone. I don't have YouTube on my phone. My phone is a boring brick. I typically get more work done within a 2 to 4 hour span in one day than most people get done in a single week. So that's how I'm able to be so much more productive than people within a month's time, because how much more work am I getting done in a month's time if I'm getting done more work than they get done in a week within an actual day? How much more work do you think that I'm getting done than them within a month's time, a year's time? They can't catch up. Because here's the thing about your focus and your energy also, and this is why I only work 2 to 4 hours per day. When I first fired my job, April 1st, 2016, I was doing my best to stick to the societal norms of like an 8-hour work day. I would wake up early, and then I would do work, and then I would have a lunch break, and then I would go back to work. And I was like, dang, I'm not really getting anything done. Because even if you think about you at your 9 to 5 job, or I don't know, you may not have a job, but I'll just use myself. When I was at a 9 to 5 job, there wasn't 8 hours worth of work to do. So I would pretty much work for maybe 2 to 3 hours. And then the rest of the day, I'm just sitting there trying to look like I'm working. Every time my manager would come around, then I would perk up and act like I'm typing on the computer. I would act like I'm really focused on the screen and really focused on scrolling through these emails. Like I'm looking like I'm working hard to read the computer screen. Like there wasn't that much work to actually do. And this goes back to our school system also. Think about school. The same thing happens in school. There's not that much work to do during a school day when you're in high school, when you're in middle school, when you're in elementary school. That's why they always give us busy work, because all that the school system does is prepare us to go into the 9 to 5 work field. And just a little history lesson for you if you didn't realize this. The school system was not meant to actually educate us. If you go just study a little bit of history, the origin of it was to just prepare us to go and work in factories and whatnot. So the school system only went up to like a middle school age, and they only wanted to teach us basic reading, writing, and arithmetic so we could then go and work in a factory. Right, but then there was a job shortage, and you had all these teenagers running around causing chaos and havoc in the streets and whatnot. And then they just created high school to teach us more basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, just to get the teenagers off of the streets. So if you just think about what a regular school day is versus what a regular work day is, what is it? You go to school in the morning, you go to work in the morning. You have your little lunch break at school, you have your lunch break at work. You go back to school, you go back to work. But what are you doing primarily during those times? You're not doing that much actual work. Most of it's just busy work. I remember when I was in school, they would just give out little worksheets and stuff and just busy time, busy work, busy work, busy work. So I was doing the same thing when I fired my job back in 2016. I was like, dang, that's not that much work to do. Then I just started doing some research and learning how the human mind works. And I came to find this out, that most people only have a maximum of 4 hours worth of focused work in them per day. 4 hours. So I was like, if I can just eliminate everything and only focus on one thing, I pretty much only need 4 hours. And once I started to do this, I just know myself, I kind of maxed out at like 3 hours. That's why I said 2 to 4. Sometimes I might only work 2, sometimes I might work 4, but it's typically between that 2 to 4 hours, because after that, my creativity and my focus, I can't do that much deep work. I'm just tapped out. And look, and to take it back to the cleaning real quick, here, if you can't find a maid, how I found Martha, I just use this app called TaskRabbit. They're not sponsoring this video, but I'm gonna just name drop them. I use this app called TaskRabbit, right? I found somebody to clean. Once I saw that she did a good job, I was like, hey, can I just contact you and pay you outside of TaskRabbit so you don't gotta pay their fee or whatever? I can just go straight to you. She was like, cool, me and Martha been rocking ever since. Now, with this energy thing too, the same thing works. Like I said, most of the things that you need to cut out are personal things, but on the business side also, you need to do the same thing. Like I said, most people have like 10 points of energy each day, right? Now, what most people are doing is that they're spreading themselves too thin on the business side, just like they're spreading themselves too thin on the personal side. So what most entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs are doing is that they're trying to build multiple businesses. They're trying to have, which if you are trying to do a side hustle right now, stop it. All side hustles fail. Why? Because you're thinking of it with a side mentality. You're not thinking of it as actually building a business. That's why you'll never be able to get the actual far with it or ever be able to make some life-changing actual income from it, because you're treating it as something else additional that you're doing with so much other stuff. So people that are here and they're trying to have multiple side hustles and they're trying to build multiple businesses. And one of the reasons why people typically do this is because they're looking of examples of somebody that is way higher up than them. And they're saying, well, they're doing everything, so I can do everything. One of my best friends, he really looks up to Kevin Hart. Right? He's like, well, Kevin Hart, he does this, he does this, he does that, he does this, he does that. He's like a Renaissance man, bro. And I was like, well, yeah, you're looking at Kevin Hart now. You're not imitating Kevin Hart then, because he did the same thing. He had all of his energy and he put it into one thing, and he focused on being a comedian. Then once he became the biggest comedian on the planet, then the overflow comes, and then he can do all those other things. But if he was here on this side of things, he would have never became Kevin Hart. But he was here just focused on being a comedian, and that alone, that then he becomes the biggest, basically, rock star of comedians, and then you have an overflow. Somebody else gave me an example of The Rock. I was like, yeah, The Rock, he has an overflow now, but The Rock, he put all of his energy, focus, and attention on becoming a wrestler. Pretty much any success story, you'll see that everybody is on this side of things, not this side of things. Now, there's always going to be an anomaly to the rule, and people, they always tend to use the anomaly and the exception as if it is the rule. They don't look at everybody else. They look at one person, and that one person that they always look at is like Elon Musk or something. Well, Elon, he has Tesla, and he's flying into space, and he's digging holes in the ground, and he's putting chips into people's brains, and I'm like, okay, that's the anomaly. And me and you are not Elon Musk. We didn't start how Elon Musk started, and we didn't almost lose everything building multiple businesses. Just do a little research on me. Almost lost everything, but we're not him, and we're not starting off how he started off. I'm not going to get into his origin story. You can do that on your own time. But no multiple businesses, no multiple hustles, and just focus. And if you just put intense focus on one thing for 2 to 4 hours per day, that's all that you need to be successful at whatever it is that you do. Because here's the thing about sticking to this side versus on this side right here. If you put all your energy, or those 10 points of energy, into one thing, this is how you actually become productive, by doing less. So for me, if I have one thing that I want to do, let's say for the year, right? And if I know this is my sole focus for the year, well, each month I actually have a goal of one thing that I'm actually going to be focused on for the actual month that is going to get me to what I want to do for the actual year. Now, from that month, now I have what is the one thing that I'm going to focus on for the week that is going to get me to where I want to be for the month, that is going to get me to my one thing that I want to accomplish for the year. So now I have one solid thing that I need to get done each day that is going to get me to where I want to be each week, which is going to get me to where I want to be each month, which is going to get me to where I want to be for the actual year. It's not about doing everything. It's about being focused and using those limited points of energy and focus that you have each day and putting them all into one task. That's how you actually get ahead. That's how you make more while working less. And that's how you get numbers coming in online your business, like all of them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to focus and make more working less from stuff that you already know online, go ahead and click the link down in the description. Join this credit at the top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all of my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm telling you, more is less. And if you can just focus and get on this side of things and eliminate all the other distractions, because typically, especially if you have a 9-to-5 job, most people, even with a job, really only have 3 to 4 hours per day to even work on their business outside of the 9-to-5. So you really need to focus. And if you don't have a 9-to-5, if you are a full-time entrepreneur, it doesn't take 10 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day to build a 6 and 7 figure business and beyond. It really only takes 2 to 4 hours per day of focused deep work. But in order to get to that deep work stage, you have to be able to focus your energy on that one thing and cut out those distractions, because all of that being productive and all that being super busy, it's fake and it's a facade, because you get the feeling of being productive, but then at the end of the day, you're like, dang, where did the day go? I didn't get anything done, and you still have all these tasks left to do. Versus if you can eliminate those things, or outside of getting somebody else to do it or using the app or something, you might even just think like, hey, this might just be something I can just eliminate totally. This isn't something that even needs to be done, period. And put all that focus on one thing and grow. I'm telling you, you will have your time back and be able to do a whole bunch of things that you actually want to do. And then everybody seems to be scratching their head and looking at you and be like, dang, how do they get so much work done? Dang, how do they still have time to go to the movies and play video games and watch cartoons and hang out with their friends and their family? Like, I'm over here, I don't have any time. And why are they making so much more money than me? And then they start to get all envious and say, well, I can't do this because I don't have the stuff that you have. And well, if I had this, then I could. We all have the same 24 hours. It's just, what are you actually doing with your 24? You don't need to do more. You don't need to be more productive. You actually need to do less. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here on how you can create a digital product in one day and make a bare minimum of $100,000 with it. It's credited at the top.